And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another week, another edition here of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 54, your weekly dose of Open Cup action. I'm of course VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the ByuN chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to one of the many catch-up streams that we're going to be having here. Again, PiGosaur Cup did take place quite some time ago, earlier in the week, and we just haven't had the time to cover it, of course, as I believe the event did actually coincide with another important day. Yeah. So I wasn't quite able to cast PiGosaur Cup, but likewise Woody TV Monday either, so we're going to be catching up. We're going to be having a catch-up stream, catching up on some PiGosaur Cup games, and also on Woody TV Monday as well at a later date, so we do have some catching up to do. Likewise, when it comes to this evening broadcast, what do we have? SC for All, right? The StarCraft for All is going to be tonight. It's going to be 2 days of NA StarCraft. It's going to be amazing, going to be beautiful, I'm sure. Shout out to the SC historian for hosting and for running that event, and we'll be there. We will be there as well, covering it as best as we can. It's going to be a really awkward, really rough time slot for us, but we'll do our best to cover said event, and it's going to be a lot of amazing StarCraft throughout the course of the weekend, I am sure. When it comes to the Cranky Gathers broadcast we've been doing, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of matches. It's been some crazy Team League StarCraft. It's great to have it back. Should be resuming that beginning Monday, the beginning of actually Tuesday, I believe, over the course of the week, of course. So this weekend is going to be busy with SC for All, and of course we're catching up with the PiGosaur Cup as well. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. When it comes to PiGosaur Cup, this is an open tournament. This is an open cup every single week on a weekly basis, but more importantly, they are featuring a full TLMC 21 map pool. This is something that we were doing in the lead up to the voting concluding for TLMC. Unfortunately, PiGosaur Cup, they were a little bit late to the party, and they started doing this after voting already concluded, so a little bit smudge on that one. But we do have a full listing of TLMC maps, and we get to experience some of these maps here and now, again giving us a better idea of how these maps will play out, especially because they do use some different maps than we do when it comes to our tournaments. When I say we, I mean ourselves, Wardy, Monday Night Weeklies, PiGosaur Cup. I believe we all have our own variations of TLMC maps that we are going to be using, different maps here and there, so we get to experience as much as we can before we do finalize that map pool coming into November. Bearing in mind that, of course, the new map pool is going to be live this month, early this month. Wax is still constructing the map pool itself. If you recall, there was some voting going on Reddit. There was, of course, internal voting as well in regards to how the map pool should be constructed, how many new maps, how many old maps, and how it all comes together in the end. And of course, the TLMC voting still has to be concluded, still has to be revealed as well. So again, that's all going to be happening this month in November. Otherwise, we're going to be jumping into our first series. We're going to be jumping into Solar versus ByuN best of 3 quarterfinals match as we load into Mothership for game number 1. Let's go. Let us go. So jump into game 1. Game 1 is going to be a Mothership, of course, a very large map, a very large 3-player spawn map. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom side Mothership, we do have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go, and welcome on all to Mothership. Mothership is a very large map in the map pool, one of the larger maps, I should say. It is also a 3-player spawn map as well, and we have seen a lot of longer and later games on Mothership. We'll see how ByuN and Solar will approach this as well. Solar, he's typically one that does embrace a longer and later game in ZVT. It's not really too early game oriented. The map itself also does favor longer games as well. We'll see how ByuN will approach this. Typically, Terran players, they do prefer to avoid some of these larger maps, but I will say one of the issues with the new map pool, or with the TLMC 21 map pool, is that there are a lot of large maps, a lot of very, very large maps here, and that does hinder the aggression of Terran in this matchup, and it may even promote a more turtle heavy play instead. So let's go. Let us go. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Solar, does not go for a delayed gas geyser. It is something that we've seen quite a lot of in recent months, in the past year of play, I should say, but has been slowly dying off, especially with the resurgence of Ling Bane. Again, the latest patch, we did have the buff to the Baneling HP that does make Ling Bane more viable and does allow you to actually get away with that in the early to mid game as well. So it allows you to build up and get into a longer game state. And likewise this time, no 2-Rex Reaver, no low ground setup out of ByuN. It's an opener he's quite fond of, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it at some point in this series, but for now, ranks expand, we're just kind of settling down, calming down, and getting into our initial openers. What I find interesting here, no SCV Scout. Ooh, okay, no SCV Scout out of ByuN. He does go for the Reaper. He does keep his SCVs back at home. So going to be a bit of a more delayed scout here by ByuN. Thankfully, he's up against Solar, and again, Solar, he's not really one to be hyper-aggressive. He's not really one to go for an early roach rush, early aggression, early all-ins. Not really what he does. Here we go. As Reaper does move out. Does scout, does confirm that Solar's not top left. Headed towards top right instead. As Solar does claim his third. Does find Solar. Solar gets his third base up and running. Behind this, ByuN going for a third CC for Starport. So we have an economic follow-up here out of ByuN. So again, we're kind of easing our way into a longer game state. That's kind of what games on the Mothership are going to be leaning towards. Settling in. Does ByuN get Protoss PTSD playing on this map? That's... no. Not like this, Pappy, not like this. I mean, we've seen ByuN's PTSD on this map before. This is true. It's very true. In general, though, like, I do agree in that sense that I don't think this is a very good map for ByuN or just for Terran in general here. Just because it's so large, there's a lot of different attack angles as well in the center of the map. It's just very difficult to be active and to be aggressive, and again, there's like reasoning as to why ByuN was so turtly there, and I can see things going quite similarly here as well, but we'll see. Obviously, I hope that isn't the case. I hope that we're able to be more active and more aggressive, and we can go into drop play. For now, we have our Reaper Hellion, that Banshee production behind this. Oh, doesn't quite get the tumor. It doesn't quite get it. Nice movement out of Solar. ByuN does pull away. Away, we are building up. Soon we'll get a take of choice from Solar, whether it's going to be a faster lair or into an Evo chamber or a Bailey nest. Soon on our tech, we have the gas. And is going double Evo chamber. Okay, so we're going into a standard opener here. We're not rushing into fast Bailey speed, faster lair, just double upgrades. We're just getting into the mid game here. Nothing crazy out of Solar, just building up. You know, ByuN looking for a way in. Solar does keep up. Solar keeps up, he defends. Starts up his upgrades. Again, faster upgrades out from Solar. He's going to have faster 1-1 and faster 2-2 as a result. The downside of this is it's quite greedy. If ByuN were to example go for like a Hellbat push and go for a stim timing that's a little bit earlier on, then there won't be any Veilings in time to defend. So there's some pros, some cons. In general though, in the standard game, this is going to be a benefit here for Solar. It's going to be at the advantage. ByuN does catch a queen. Not bad. Solar extends, one queen goes down, better pick up here by ByuN. Fourth base is on the way. And again, because of the terrain here, because of the layout of the map, we can just keep expanding away from the Terran. So we have a fourth base, we can get that fifth base as well over on the left-hand side. Let's make it more difficult to harass. As Lings do move out, they hit the mineral line. ByuN is in position, thankfully. So ByuN, he defends. Banshee getting another queen. Okay, two queens. Two queens go down. Not bad. Denying some mining. Queens have to respond. As they're quite a ways away. Oh. Ooh, as ByuN does overextend. That should not have happened here. The Banshee goes down. Queens, they weren't even a part of the defense. So the Banshee does fall. And again, we're building up. We are taking our gases. So ByuN is taking his, or he should soon be taking his gases here at the third base. He's got a second factory on the way. This is indicative of a fourth CC. Getting into the mid to late game. ByuN is being active. Double drop to the main base. Spores do defend. What I will say is that the bases are further away from the Terran player. That is true, but you can see that Solar, he is a little bit spread thin. I mean, that's where the spores come into play. Side defense, just to buy some time. Baling speed is still on the way. Solar does get a fifth. ByuN is moving out. As he moves out, there's a 4CC. There are the gases. Oh. Solar's keeping up with ByuN. The crease spread is a little bit lacking here towards the left-hand side, so ByuN, he can sneak up on the 5th base at least. Nice target firing. That does pull away. ByuN getting into the expansion, does deny the 5th. From here, we do have the high ground advantage pushing towards the 4th base. Okay. Does have the high ground, but doesn't have the numbers. It's going to be cleaned up. Maya gets surrounded. First tank goes down. And we'll get the second tank as well. Oof. Yeah, both tanks full. Drop into the main base. Can hold the turn. Gets one of the queens. Takes down one, but Solar holds. Solar, he does hold on, does survive, does defend. From here, oh, as the full medevac goes down, I was about to say that we can get into Hive Tech. Hive is already done, actually. So Hive is complete. Vipers are on the way. Hydra upgrades as well, getting to Ling Bane, Hydra Viper. And from here, we can start to take up into Ultras. But with the Hydrogen, the tech of choice might be Lurker Tech. We'll see. Could go Lurkers, could go Ultras, has options. And there it is, Lurker Den is thrown down. So taking up to Lurkers. ByuN going for a split push. Double drop on the right, main army towards the left. Solar is out of position. And once again, ByuN setting up on the high ground. It does try to set up. Solar having a hard time engaging here. Yeah, there's no bailing. Solar, his army is split in a bit of an awkward way. And he trades well. Trades well, takes down the gas geysers. The Vipers have been gathering energy. Solar still being patient. Yeah, the Vipers are ready. Premier combined in cloud. Ooh, covers the Marines. ByuN needs to find more damage here. Lassie won't be able to. Oh. We get some okay mine shots. They're okay. As Solar, he should be keeping up. We'll lose another expansion though. And 4th base goes down. Nice figures here by ByuN. Now going for the center expansion. The Lurkers aren't ready yet. Yeah, he has a Lurker down, but no Lurkers yet. Oof. Yeah, brutal mine shots. But once again, there's not enough fire. Solar, he's going to be able to barely hold on. We need those Lurkers, but where are the Lunkers? Oh no. ByuN stimming in. Snipes a Hydrogen, denies the upgrade as well. Not the most important upgrade, but does snipe. And without an anchor point, Solar, he is struggling. ByuN does take a supply lead. There we go. We have the lurkers on the way. 7 lurkers in production. And if Solar can build up these lurkers, he can stabilize. He can stabilize, he can slow the game down. He just needs the lurkers back. ByuN once again splitting up his army. Catching a couple of Urlers. Does supply block Solar, okay. Does the supply block. Force to pick up. Nice splits. Split does avoid damage. Ghost is still on the way. Can he get into the lurkers? He gets 1. Gets 1, gets 2. Not bad. Oof. As he cannot push within range. We mentioned before that Solar can start to stabilize. His lurkers are in position. And now Solar, he's re-expanding. He's re-expanding back at home. ByuN, he has been untouched, true. On his 4, soon to be 5 bases. Switching into Mass Liberator. He's getting there. How many ghosts? Only 4 so far. So still a very low ghost count. Drops being dealt with. We have a June drop here towards the main. Does get in. Can he snipe in his heck? Going for the Hydrogen. Going for a bit of everything. A Lurker Gen barely goes down. And the Hydrogen as well. Okay. Takes out both tech structures. Oh no! Oh, move commands into the Lurkers. Ay, ay, ay. How much was that actually? Yeah, he's gonna lose everything. He plummets in supply. ByuN, who will lose his June drop into the main base, who will lose his main army in the center, and suddenly Solar takes a massive supply lead. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Solar is pushing. ByuN is in trouble. ByuN, he barely has an army left. He's down to 4 ghosts. 4 ghosts, sorry, 8 in total. But yeah, ByuN, he was doing well. He was denying bases, denying creep, but in one fell swoop, he lost 2 armies. And that might just be game. To be honest, that might just be game. Then and there, Solar is going for the kill, going into the bases. And here we get the 3rd. Yeah, the 3rd is going to go down. From here, he can just push right into the natural. That's a lot of ghosts, but they don't really have much support. Oh, where are we headed? Jesus. Snipes from the high ground. I mean, decent snipes here on the Hydras, but despite that, the base should fall. There's no saving the planetary. And ByuN, he will lose everything. The 3rd, the 4th base. And again, ByuN, he was playing this out well. He was definitely, like, I would say, out-positioning, trading Solar for a lot of this game. But again, just took too many bad fights too quickly. So steps in. Let's go. Catching out some of the lunkers. Yo, we got mules though. True. The mule hammer. Let's go. And this is the final army here for ByuN. ByuN doesn't really have the economy to sustain these losses, so what you see is what you get. Does get the center expansion. Solar still has a 4th base though. Solar's getting infestors. Now there is a world where if Solar's a little bit too greedy here, if he double expands, if he drones up a little bit too hard, as he's only down to 69 workers, then maybe, but Solar's playing safe. He's got infestors on the way, making more lings. The drop play has been quite successful with ByuN. Solar's had a really hard time keeping up. So ByuN, he does find another base. It's a couple of drones, just gets 1. It's 1 drone times expansion. Again, ByuN is heavily reliant on this drop play. Does float over, getting his 4th. If given time, ByuN can rebuild a greater army. If given time. Nice pickoffs. ByuN's making 2. I mean, a couple of Marines at the time. Okay, just doesn't really have much money to work with. Going for the center base. I mean, getting any kind of 4th is going to be difficult here, as these areas are just so wide open, so vulnerable to aggression. This does seem a difficult map for a Terran player to turtle up on. More so than others. The middle line, 8 SCVs is going to be going down. Workers at ByuN can't afford to lose. It's down to 24 SCVs. Ay. Down to a 1.5 base economy, if that. 1.25. Solo's remaxed. And ByuN, he has built up an army, but bearing in mind that his army is it's a very inefficient army, or I say inefficient, it's very marine heavy. It's a very fragile composition here for ByuN. Bungles to do graze the army. Solo is committing in. Does pull away. It's way opening up the ramp. Solely does collapse in. Nice EMPs on the infestors, but there's still more fungals. Oof, brutal connections. Fungals do connect. And again, this is ByuN's final army. Can't afford to take a bad fight. Speaking of, Lin crashing in. The Bio army getting cornered. TvZ trade well. Snipes on the Hydras. The ghosts are popping up. Brings down the Hydras. Solar, he backs up from here, and now it's time to rebuild. Time to rebuild, time to remax. A couple of workers moving in. Lings that collapse on the ghosts. Oof. Workers do borrow. And again, ByuN can't replace this army. Leading out more ghosts. Solar does trickle in. Cleans up. And Solar has a bank. He's lacking larva. That's the one thing that's keeping Solar back here, is there's no injections, right? There's no injections. Do we have any queens? Only 3 queens, and there we go. Now Solar, he's going for his injects. Queens, they got a lot of work to do. As they head in between the bases. And that's what's been stopping Solar, is the lack of larva. Let's pick up a couple of workers, not bad. My shot goes up on the Overlord. Ling Bane once again collapses on the Ghosts. A little bit of miscontrol there by Solar. Leaves the Vipers idle. Oh, good. But Solar, he can still just overwhelm. Yeah, Ling's taking on top of the Ghosts. Catching up the Marauders. I mean, shout out to ByuN, he's been trading his heart out, just trading as efficiently as he can, but GG gets called, and Solar, he will take game number 1. GG. GG well played. Again, ByuN, he was honestly playing quite well initially. He was sniping bases, denying creep, but the creep it never really exceeded the expansions, by the way. But he took one too many bad fights too quickly, if you recall. ByuN, he lost a quadruple doom drop going into the main base. It was a massive loss there for ByuN, and he moved command his main army into lurkers. And very quickly, I want to say he plummeted like 50 supply. It was around like 50 plus supply. He just plummeted, and then Solar instantly counterattacked. If you remember, that's when Solar, he killed the 3rd base and he killed the 4th expansion as a result of ByuN throwing away all of his army, and that was game then and there. The game continued, of course, but that was ByuN just kind of being fueled by mules and again just preserving his units as best he could. Couldn't really take it to Solar though in a longer game. GG well played. And with that, Solar does take lead in the series, and now we're getting to game number 2. Ooh, another massive map. We're loading into another very large map. Going to be loading into the Old Republic, and spawning in the right hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Shopify. Down in the series, we'll see if he mounts back. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go as we load into the Old Republic, and this is another insanely large map. Not just that, but it's also very difficult to defend on 4 bases. Your 3 base setup is very secure. You can see here your natural and your 3rd base. It's very close by, very secure. We have some narrow ramps coming into them, but the 4th base is a lot further out. It is isolated from the other expansions, and it has some massive angles of attack as well. It's a very open 4th base, very accessible 4th base. Likewise, the low ground expansion is also very accessible as well. So defending on 4, let alone 5 bases, it's going to be very difficult to achieve here if you don't have map control. So I would assume that similarly to last game, ByuN has to take a similar approach where he's hyper aggressive. Remember, ByuN, he was barely giving Solar any room to breathe, and Solar was dying. Like Solar, he was losing bases. He was losing his 5th, his 4th, mineral line after mineral line, tech structures as well. Like Solar was having a really hard time keeping up with the drop player ByuN, and we're going to have to see something similar, except this time without ByuN losing his doom drop, without him losing his main army to lurkers as well. Just because being defensive and turtling on this map, it doesn't really seem viable. It doesn't really seem too viable. It doesn't really seem like a solid, a viable option here for ByuN. Not on the Old Republic, not on Mothership either. So I'm curious what the actually I was gonna say I'm curious what the vetoes are. What is the map pool for this for this tournament? Let's have a look here. What is the map pool? 10,000 feet, Andromeda, Celestial Enclave, Mothership, the Old Republic, Satellite Years, Taito, Throne of Dooms, Winter Madness. Jesus. So they're all TLMC 21 maps. There are 6 massive maps in this tournament map pool. It's Winter Madness, Throne of Dooms, Taito Citadel, the Old Republic, Mothership, and Celestial Enclave. Every map that I just mentioned is, I would consider like a massive map. So, oh god. This was my big concern regarding specifically like map pools that incorporate all the TLMC maps. Specifically for this TLMC 21, a lot of really large maps made it through into the top 16. A lot of really large maps, and the smaller or more aggressive maps are in the minority. Even the medium-sized maps are in the minority, and instead there's just a lot of really large maps. So if you're making a full map pool of TLMC 21 maps, you have to be careful about that. You do have to be careful to be able to balance out the maps, balance out the map pool as best you can. So in my mind, I'm like, Jesus, what did ByuN veto? It's clear. I mean, he probably would have been vetoing Taito, Celestial Enclave, Winter Madness, which is even more brutal. True. Throne of Dunes. There's a lot to veto to try to avoid maps like this. Okay. 3CC 2-on-1 here at a ByuN. So ByuN does go for a bit of a more aggressive build. This does lead into an early stim timing, into a double medevac drop of 16 Marines. This does hit around 5:30. So 5 minutes 30. The Overlord Scout does confirm both Raxes, does confirm Stim is on the way, so Solar, he's fully aware what's coming, and Solar, he can respond with an Evo Chamber, with fast plus 1 carapace, and with droning. What's important about scouting this build? Ooh, that is a 4-minute lair. And a second gas. Are we going for a Roach response? Hello, Solar. what's going on? Interesting. So Solar, he is reacting in a bit of a different way. What I was going to say here is that upon scouting, Solar knows that he's free to drone, right? He knows that he's free to drone up until a certain point before he has to focus on his army production. So he's free to drone up until like around 5 minutes, if not 5-10, before he can focus on his army. Gases are being taken. Baneling is on the way. This is a bit of a greedy response here, going lair first into Baneling speed, into delayed Evo Chamber upgrades. We'll see if we can get away with it. I mean, this might just be to counterattack into all in. I'm just thinking the purpose of going for a 4-minute lair here would be to rush into Baneling speed as quickly as possible. We might just skip. Oh, that's crazy. I was gonna say we might just skip the Evo Chambers entirely, and we are, but not for the reasons I thought. We're doing it for Mutas. Okay, Muta responds to a 2-on-1. All right, Solar. Okay, show us what you got. Show us what you got. As here comes the move out. ByuN, he does push. Again, Stim is done. But Solar, he's aware of this timing, so he should be ready for this. Solar's got his 7 queens. Banelings are morphing in. Lings are amassing as well. So Solar, he has the tools to defend. But again, the Spire follow-up is bold. that's a bold move. Oh. So Baneling gets 2. ByuN is deflected. Solar does defend. And the Spire is finishing up. And this is a way to shut down the drops. And of course, to keep ByuN contained. Ideally, with this kind of build, you want to be reinforcing, moving out. You want to be maintaining map control. But ByuN's about to lose that. His Muta's almost out. And Solar, he does get away with it. Does get away with it. Pulls away. Ooh, force to pick up. Force to pick up. Mutas, they will catch the medevac. Ooh, full medevac goes down. And ByuN will lose everything here. Massive loss here for ByuN. Magnum towers are being thrown down immediately. Where's on the turrets? Mutas, they get into the mineral line. SCV's going to be going down. Getting 2 SCVs already. And we spoke earlier how it is difficult to turtle up on this map, and ByuN is going to be forced to turtle. That's what the Mutas achieve. The Mutas, they achieve map control, they contain the Terran, and ByuN is going to be stuck at home. Now again, defending on 3 bases is relatively straightforward. It's the 4th base which is the issue. ByuN, he does move out. Solar, he's already maxed. Solar, he's maxed out. We're all tied up with 1-1 upgrades. 2-2 is still on the horizon here for ByuN. So ByuN moves out. Solar does backstab. Oh, that's attempt 2. Back around. Yeah, and Sully does get on top of the tanks. Tanks go down. Bailey's will crash in. And so ByuN has to get the hell out of here. As the Beloy has to get out. And ByuN has to fight for his 4th base. Oh, let's catch some mutas. Nicely done. Gets 3. 4 mutas go down. The Overseer as well. Nice catch here by ByuN. Now see if ByuN can maintain that 4th. Does float to the low ground. Solo's remaxing. Hive is on the way. What's our setup here? We have some Widow Mines, Thor Productions ByuN, 3/3s on the way. So we're catching up some Marines. Let's catch ByuN out. Save the natural. As we mentioned in game 1, ByuN, he has to be active like this. He has to clear up as much creep as he can. Let's go down. Marines do full. Down into position. Oh, that's so good. And again, just like game number 1, ByuN, he has to be as active as possible to make sure that his bases are left untouched. As turtling is not an option. Mutas take it into the main. Catching reinforcements. Solo moving in, catching up the Marines. Oh no! Okay, no splits. Yeah, late reaction out of ByuN. He was distracted. Marines going down. Widow Mine shots. Decent connections. But forces finally fire towards the end. Mutas to do overwhelm. 15 SCV kills, brutal damage. Likewise, ByuN's main army gets called out. And Solo is remaxing with Ultras. Ultras are on the way. ByuN took a massive blow to his army. You can see here, ByuN is down 40 supply. And Solo is remaxing and he'll soon move out to break that 4th base. As we mentioned, I don't blame ByuN for being active on the map. Unfortunately, he was distracted by the mutas. He took some really rough fights. Solo does rotate. Switch it around. Gets the natural. ByuN is remaxing. Staying on a very low SCV count. Going for a super maxed army instead. Do you have any spellcasters? The answer is no. Okay. He's just Ling, Bane, Ultra, Muta. No Infestors, no Vipers. And catching a part of the army. Solo pulls away. This one, it might be wise to get rid of some of these mutas. Just for room for Infestors, Vipers, more Ultras as well. I'm sure Solo he wants to get rid of them eventually. Doesn't want to throw them away. Oh. So he needs some more meters. Sling Bane is amassing. Soul attacking a little bit prematurely here, but here come the Bailings. It breaks through the main army. Meters are coming from behind. Magic boxing on top of the Thor. Oh, the Gee, there are so many medevacs. The medevacs back. Pulls away. Likewise, ByuN is not really ready for Ultra Tech. No Academy. Yeah, no Academy, no Ghost. Ultras, they dive in. They've been catching out the army. We gotta get out of here. Oh. Jesus. They do slip into the bases. Oh, God, Jesus. Woodline shot doesn't quite go up. So once again, ByuN getting distracted. Beating out more mules, beating out more SCVs. I spoke earlier about trading out these mutas, but I mean, they've done well for themselves. Mutas back. Just harassing, distracting ByuN, more importantly. Solo, he should be able to break through, catching out more reinforcements. And again, it's ByuN that's been in the defensive the entire, like, what, the past 10 minutes? It's been ByuN surviving. But finally he's broken. Finally he is broken. Lings get into the bases. Mutas as well. Going for the planetary. And it has been Solo looking very comfortable throughout the entire game, really. I don't think ByuN ever threatened any of these bases. Like, his 2-on-1 did threaten the creep in the center, and I think that's it. And we just saw a push here that's encroached upon one of the expansions. Did kill this base at least, but those like the two big moments that ByuN had in this game. Otherwise, she's just been stuck on his side of the map. Solo rolls in, ByuN supply blocks. And these should be the final units here of ByuN. Mineral line goes down. We lose 22 SCVs. Planetary did full as well. Yeah, Solo's being a little bit more careless here, but I mean, he knows. That's all he knows. It's broken, ByuN. We're just rallying at this point. ByuN is being active with what little he has left. He's down to 9 Marauders. 9 Marauders. And he gets an Ultra. Let's go. He never had the economy to sustain Ghost production, so if you're curious, if you're like, yo, why aren't there any Ghosts? Where's the Academy? What's going on? I mean, ByuN hasn't had any money to do so. Like, it's been a rocky game there for ByuN. Trying to maintain himself, trying to keep up. Like here, he even floats over his main base to expand as a 4th, or as a 5th. Just trying to keep up. And again, it's been a very lane bane meter heavy regardless. As down goes another expansion. Trading a base for a base. ByuN is down to 27 ACV. GG gets called, and Solar, he will take the series 2-0. He'll advance on to the semifinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar as he does claim the series. And something that I found quite interesting about this series here is I'm curious how the meta is going to be shifting once we get into the new map pool. We're probably going to have a proper and a greater discussion about this during the podcast once the map pool is revealed. So it's still more theoretical when it comes to how the map pool is going to be constructed. But as I mentioned, when it comes to the TLMC 21 map pool, the TLMC 21 top 16, there are a lot of really large maps, here. And as a result, the upcoming map pool might reflect that as well. That's why, like, for my voting, I did the best that I could to make sure that I was pretty certain that like Mothership would make it through. I was pretty certain that like probably Celestial Enclave will make it through. I made sure to vote on actually smaller maps because there's so few of them. There's so few of them when it comes to the top 16, so I did the best that I could at least to like make sure that some of the smaller maps got representation in the overall standings. But yeah, we'll see kind of what the map pool does look like coming into November, and we might see a bit of a shift in the meta here, for better or for worse. Basically what we saw here at ByuN, because it's so difficult to defend and to be turtle heavy on Mothership and Old Republic, he was very active and very aggressive, and I think that's probably a good thing. Like, it was a little more dynamic, especially Mothership. Like, Mothership was a little more back and forth, but it did also feel like if the Terran player were to lose map control, everything would swing heavily in favor of the Zerg. Like, as I was mentioning here, this game lasted a decent amount of time, but Solo was by no means in any danger. Like, he was in no danger at all this game. He was very, very comfortable just because of the size of the map, just because of the layout of the map as well. The biggest threat to him was the initial 2-on-1 timing, which got shut down, and the follow-up push towards the end of the game towards the top base as well. So because of that, yeah, I mean, again, that's why it's going to depend on what the map pool looks like coming into November, and kind of how things are constructed and how many of these larger maps are going to be, just because there are a lot of them. So we'll see. Again, referencing to Title Citadel, Throne of Dunes, Winter Madness, the Old Republic, Mothership, Celestial Enclave as well, and many more. Like, these are only the maps in this tournament, but there are many more in the top 16. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things do adjust, because this feels very it almost feels it reminds me a little bit of TvP, where TvP can be very momentum can swing quite heavily one way or the other, depending on I mean, that depends more on the early game here, but here as well, just feel like it's very much on a knife's edge. But we'll see how the meta evolves. We'll see how players adjust to some of these maps as well. We'll see. Otherwise, GG will play. Congratulations, Solar. He will claim the series, and we are going to be following our players into the semifinals. Let's go. Let us go.